Dude,
But
I love your channel. I'll say it. That's why I agreed to do this. I
ah,
people share your videos in the Telegram. I'm like, I love him.
very humbling. Well, thank you very
Yeah.
much, man. Okay, so today I'm bringing you the actual creator of Jesus Coin. Let's talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
This is the Hey Ed YouTube channel. I am your host, moderator, and all-around nice guy, Edward Anderson. And man, can I deliver for you guys or what? So today, I'm bringing you the actual creator, the proverbial horse's mouth, if you will, of Jesus Coin. But before we get started here, just a little reminder, neither I nor my guest are financial advisors. So always do your own research before doing anything with your money. So don't just do anything that we mention here as investment advice. If you're a veteran to my channel, you've seen me do several videos on Jesus Coin. And if you haven't seen them, you might want to go back and watch those. So whether you are already a holder of Jesus Coin or you're considering being a holder, I think you're going to find this a very valuable, a must-watch video. So welcome to the Hey Ed channel, Maker.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And Merry Christmas. So
Yes, Merry Christmas. I know we got 2 weeks left.
that's right. Yeah. Just under 2 weeks. So we're recording this. Let's put a marker on this. So we're recording this on Tuesday, December 12th. So let me start with first things first. So why did you create Jesus Coin?
Great question. So I've been in crypto for since 2019 and officially have been in the space working since 2020. So, got in personally investing, having fun, buying things on Robinhood. And then you're like, oh, maybe I should learn about the technology that I'm investing in instead of just buying. So then that brought me down the rabbit hole of getting into, DeFi and NFTs. And then we had DeFi summer in 2020. And pretty much just like my entire world got shifted where I was like, wow, I want to be in this space. This is the space I want to be in. So I'm working in crypto. April 2023, Pepe comes out. I was blessed enough to get into Pepe like day one within a couple hours. So had a great trade on that. I had no intentions of, I had always wanted to incorporate my foundation of faith with, everything that I do in general. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. And anything that I do is based off of that. So it's like, there was no timing where I'm like, oh, let's make the perfect coin and let's launch it now and all of this stuff. Truly what happened was I got into Pepe early. I made a good trade. And that was like probably a week and a half's worth. And then, it pumped like crazy to over $1 billion in 2 weeks. So in that first week and a half, what I started seeing was a lot of the people that I knew on Twitter, a lot of my friends in NFTs, a lot of these people who've been trading, like having fun with crypto, all of a sudden they start getting wrecked from honeypots, rug pulls, full-on scams. And it's like, they're losing thousands of dollars. Like my friends are losing thousands. So then I start making tweets about like, hey guys, here's how you analyze a contract to see if it's a honeypot. Here's how you see like the wallet distribution to see like, oh, is this a healthy distribution of wallets? Am I going to get dumped on by the team? All of these things. And so those posts started like, people were like, bro, thank you for this so much. I was about to ape into this coin. And then, but it's still, it was like, man, people are, it frustrates me to see the level of like greed and people just taking advantage of others, where it's like, just because it's easy to scam someone doesn't mean you should. So why is everyone like, I was frustrated with what was happening. So I said, you know what, I can do this. I have a crypto background. I have connections with developers. So let's create something that's super easy to get into. So like the pre-sale itself was very public and accessible. Let's do it in a way that it's just for the people. Let's just give it to them as a way of like, hey, it's possible to be a dev, to not screw people over, and to have fun with something. So like that was the intention from the beginning. Let me just do this. And then from there, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the video of me on Twitter, like running with my head chopped off basically. And it was just like a series of incidents and accidents and mistakes, which obviously everything happens for a reason. So they're not really mistakes. Like it was meant to be that way. But then through that, it's like, wow, okay, wow, we have 500 holders. Now we have 1,000. Now we have 2,000. Now we have 5. And like the interest in the project kept growing. And I'm like, well, I just wanted to launch something, in a fair way to prove to people that you don't have to be an awful person. And now we're starting to foster this community of like, actually, no, like we want to make a difference in crypto. Like we want one mass adoption to come into crypto. So how can we want mass adoption for normal users to come into crypto when crypto is a sucky place and everyone's getting screwed and scammed? So that community has been starting to draw people in. We just hit 10,000 holders last week. So it's like we're starting to see a massive interest from community members who connect with what we're doing. The moral, like the mission of the project is to do good. I have it on my mug. Do good,
Excellent.
give more. I think that's backwards, but
Excellent.
Do good, give more. And like that is the basis of the foundation. And then from there, we're just seeing like, wow, people are drawn to that concept of helping others, showing people that, again, like you don't have to be a greedy, awful person to be in crypto. It's possible to be a decent human being. And now it's like, wow, here we are, whatever, 8 months later, 7 months later, and it's just on for the ride of what's going on.
Yeah, congratulations on that, man. I just checked it. Let me do a screen share for the audience real quick, just to give people a snapshot of where we stand today. So let me pull up. I'm going to pull up my CoinMarketCap page. All right. All right, so this is the 1 year performance of Jesus Coin, and you see that year to date since the launch, it is up 17,000%. So not bad for a walk around the block.
Yes.
So congratulations and well done.
Thank you.
So far. Personally,
Thank
I think
you.
we're still in the infant stages of this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe toward the end here we can talk about that. So hang around, everyone,
Yeah.
because this is going to get even better as we go along. But
Yes.
let me kind of flush something out here, because I'm going to try to give my audience things that they're not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah.
So and I would so let's kind of cut to the chase for people who are thinking about getting into this, or they're hearing about this for the first time, or maybe they're already in it. Maybe give them a little insight here that they didn't know before. Now, I did see a video that you posted on YouTube once, and I will post a link to that video below that you titled Unruggable. And
Yeah.
could you share with us the things that you did in order to
Yeah.
make this coin unruggable? And if you do want to do a
Yes.
screen share, I did give you authority to.
Okay.
Because I think this is personally, I think the things that you have done make your coin unique. And right, and should give a whole lot of peace of mind to anybody who's considering, putting a sizable amount of dough into this, or any kind of dough for that matter. But for those people who are actual whales out there, they might really, really like the features that you built into this.
Yes. Okay. So I made a video called the Unruggable Meme Coin, which essentially is going through all the details. So if you are not aware, the team was not given any allocation for this project. We launched it, put it out in the public. Anyone who is on, we have an awesome team of volunteers, community moderators for the Telegram, moderators for the Discord. We have people helping run the Twitter account. We have designers like for the website, and it's all volunteers. So that's been what's cool is it's like no one has this massive amount that people are like, they just got for free, and here they are. So I'll run you through all the details of how I got to the conclusion to create an unruggable project. So fun fact, when I made that video, the liquidity pool itself was still unrenounced.
Right.
So just real quick, I'll get to here it is, the liquidity pool itself. So this countdown, it's done, it's burned, it's officially there. So I'll click to open this so you guys can see. But so this is Pink Sale Finance. All of this is transparent. You can check out all these links. They're all pinned in our Telegram, so feel free to join the Jesus Coin Telegram. And so this is the countdown that ended on November 21st, which was renouncing all of the liquidity. So number one, when looking at projects, is can you buy and sell? And so, we know it's decentralized trading. You have a pool. When you buy, you put ETH into the pool and you take out Jesus. When you sell, you take out ETH and put Jesus back in. So that's, everybody who is familiar with crypto and decentralized exchanges understands how that works. So what's so cool about this is because no one was crazy enough to be a liquidity provider for this project, because there was no insider, no whale who was down to do it. This amount started with something like $15,000 or $16,000. It was 9 ETH. That was it. So this amount started with 9 ETH back in April. And the trading fees, because we've had over $200 million in trading volume since April, that Uniswap LP position, which is a 0.3% for every buy and every sell, that's just how Uniswap, pools work. Though that money keeps stacking. And because no one owns access to this, because it's been renounced, it's been burned, this $2.4 million cannot be removed. Obviously, you could sell into it, but that's the whole point. You have sell and then the market kind of equalizes. So that's number one, to say that it's unruggable in that no one can pull the liquidity. You'll have tokens where the bald token on base is a great example for those who are familiar. I could pull it up. Actually, I'll pull it up because it's a fascinating chart. You had these massive swings right here, because all of a sudden this token starts pumping and there's millions of dollars in liquidity. And so everyone's like, oh yeah, this is good to go. And then the dev says, oh, actually, I want to pull this liquidity. So immediately you have a huge crash like this because they just pull out the money. So when you pull out the money, the token value itself is worthless because it's not paired with anything of value. So number one, that's where we're at for the liquidity pool. Number two, which is so cool, is this amount here, which, gosh, it's crazy to think. So this is $178 million worth of Jesus coin that I accidentally locked.
Yeah.
And, you've heard, if you've watched the video, you've heard the story. It was supposed to, I did it wrong.
Yeah,
did it wrong.
I'm going to ask about that specifically. So go ahead and skip over it for now.
Okay, we'll skip over it. So this here is locked and is scheduled to be burned. If I can pull up the tab. Oh, this header at the top is unfortunate. Scheduled to be burned on Christmas Day. Right here. In 13 days, that amount will be burned. Very exciting. The other thing to look at, which I got into on the video, was going over the Etherscan itself of the project and where you can look at the top holders. So whenever I'm, trading or looking to invest in a certain coin or buy a certain coin, whatever the purpose may be, it's always important to check out and see who are the top holders and who are these whales that own this. So because I launched this, I know for a fact that none of these are the team members. And because it's crypto and it's all transparent on the blockchain, you guys can also go check and double check to make sure that these wallets did not receive any tokens for free, did not get I went through, there were 68 people who contributed to the pre-sale. Not one held past like a week or something, which is valid, whatever. They made some money, they made it 2x, 3x, and then they sold. So knowing that there's no one here on the ground floor who has a cost basis of 0 or very, very, very low, knowing that and knowing that the largest wallet right now holds 4.5 trillion, which I went over this in the video as well. So because I guess this is the biggest point here. So point number 3, if that's what I'm on, is the fully diluted market cap. So this 227 million includes this amount that is scheduled to be burned. So really the market cap is only 45 million.
Right.
So we're still very early in terms of like the grand scheme of things. And so because this amount has to do with this ownership percentage, then truly, really, I think multiplying these by 5 gets you closer to where the actual ownership percentage is. So after the burn, there will be something like 156 trillion Jesus tokens that exist. And, so here's a good example. So this is basically a 1% ownership supply. If you start getting into some of these other big meme coins like Sheeb, Pepe, for example, you see these percentages can be quite a lot, especially when it comes to centralized exchanges owning these percentages. So we can pull up Pepe is just a great example because it's, it was the inspiration for the project and really took off this year like crazy. I mean, 500 million market cap right now. So you can see that Binance owns 22% of the
Wow.
supply. And
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And of course it's users on Binance.
Yeah.
But for example, we saw this with Jesus Coin. We saw Poloniex, which is an exchange, got hacked. 1.4 trillion Jesus got stolen, dumped on the market, and that was, you know, one wallet that held that. So even though it's a centralized exchange and other people own it, that's just kind of a point of risk that it is interesting to note. And so, you know, I get excited because then I start seeing like, well, shoot, Binance owns 20%, OKX owns 7%, KuCoin owns 1%, the Kraken owns 1%. You know, thinking of those numbers when it comes to when Jesus Coin gets to the point of like, okay, when these tier 1 exchanges are more interested in onboarding a lot of holders and users, specifically like a US compliant exchange, it's like, wow, okay, now all of a sudden looking at the Jesus holder count, it's like, so now you have these exchanges need to come into these top slots. So that just personally gets, you know, exciting to kind of speculate on. But that's basically it. That is like the thesis of being unruggable. That's it.
Yeah, excellent. Well said. Now I've got a Wall Street background. I started working on Wall Street in 1987, and so I've got a few decades of experience working on Wall Street as a stockbroker, a trader, and as a trading instructor. So I've been through a lot of this stuff before. Now, this crypto world is a whole different space. You got to learn there are a few little unique features about being in the crypto space, of course, but there are some rules that apply across the board regardless of whatever category you're swimming in. And one of the rules that I used to teach my students is it's never the news. It's always the reaction to the news that's important.
Yes.
And for example, the Poloniex disaster you mentioned, the fact that, look, that was god awful news. Okay, they were hacked, and a boatload of Jesus coins were dumped on the market.
Yeah.
So okay, that's bad news. But the fact that Jesus coin has held up so well since then,
yeah,
and is up quite a bit more since then, that's a very impressive, result. The way a stock or a meme coin or crypto reacts to bad news gives you a real clue to the health of the coin, the underlying sustainability of it. So so this is an example where bad news is good news in the sense that it gives you a really good sense of the quality of a project, in this case, the Jesus coin. So the fact that it was able to weather that event, imagine how well it does when a good event happens. So you got to learn to look at things a little bit differently than the average investor, and you got to learn to take the news and turn it sideways a little bit to get the true impact of what you're looking at. Anyway, so I don't want to get into trading philosophy because we'll be here all day. Okay, so I want to ask you, so again, everyone, the questions I'm going to be asking here are all going to be kind of probing. So I think you should all hang around for all of this because there's every little bit of insight you can get is going to be useful to you. Okay, so I do want to ask because the story about the burn. Now, this is kind of a funny story actually, and tell me how the burn happened. I know it was kind of an accident. For us, it was a happy accident, but it was nevertheless an accident. Everything happens for a reason, right? So so tell us that story, and then we'll go into what I think the implications are of the burn itself. So how did it happen? How did the burn, that 80% burn, which is, by the way, is that common? That seems like very uncommon, isn't it?
Oh, that's very uncommon.
80%.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. So this is how it happened. I wish the story was cooler. I mean, maybe it's cool just because of what it is, but so when I launched the project, it was me and 2 devs. I had a front-end developer who was helping with the website and a back-end developer helping with the tokenomics and the contract and all of that stuff. So he was consulting of like, hey, you should use Pink Sale. It's super easy. Do that. Hey, you should do, a pre-sale with this amount, all of that and the tokenomics, etc. He helped with that. We got to the point where both devs were like, this is crypto, it's a meme coin. I don't want my face attached to this. You good luck. Like we helped you, but good luck. Don't mention our names. Go for it. And so I was like, okay, I'm just on my own. Here we go. And so as I'm inputting, if I'm a developer, I know contracts. I'm like typing and all this stuff. But when I do marketing. So when I'm inputting numbers into Pink Sale and it says like, oh, how much do you want to add to the liquidity pool? How much do you want to add for team? How much do you want a discount? So as I'm basically copy pasting from a spreadsheet that I was used with the developers into the launch itself, into the contract, I just do it wrong. And so what was supposed to happen is in my brain, I'm still like, wait, how did I do that wrong? Because the goal was 80% goes into the liquidity pool, which would mean that 80% is in the free circulating supply. But in reality, it was 80% goes into the locked liquidity for the team. I don't know what category it even was because it was just switched. And so when we launched and people are then saying like, you guys are dumping, like, how dare, we launched this coin, how dare you? And I'm like, I didn't even get any tokens. How am I dumping? So then I released, the crazy video, and I'm super flustered because I'm like, oh my gosh, my reputation is ruined. They think I'm dumping. Like, this is awful. So I rush to my phone, not even my computer. So I'm on MetaMask on my phone trying to scroll through. And I'm like, okay, I need to renounce the contract. Okay, I need to make sure everything's locked. Okay, I need to burn, to make sure that I don't have this. So because in my mind, I thought I had saved back a percentage for the team, which was the goal was 7%. I was like, oh, we'll save back 7%. Pepe did the same thing. Pepe saved, some that you pay for centralized exchanges and marketing and all this stuff. And so I'm like, okay. I need the team of money that I gave myself, I need to make sure we don't actually have that. Like, that's where I was like, because my reputation's at stake. So then I go through, I'm on my phone and I'm, renouncing, burning, locking, all of this stuff. So when I finish, I assume I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. The liquidity is still locked, good to go. The team supply, I've disassociated myself with it. So that's good to go. And then everyone has 80% of the rest of the tokens that they can use on their own. I took care of 20%, they'll have the 80%. Obviously, the reality is that was reversed and 20% was out there and 80% was just locked. So I'm trying to think through. So at the time, market cap would have been I don't know, maybe under $1 million. So it's that 80% supply was probably maybe a couple $100,000 or something. To now that 80% is 170 million. And someone mentioned this where they're like, oh, well, the liquidity is only 2 million. So you couldn't sell, all whatever. And then you say, well, actually go look at every crypto project that exists, and you realize the market cap for Ethereum is whatever, hundreds of billions, whatever it is, 500 billion or something. There's not 500 billion in a liquidity pool on Uniswap for ETH. That pair, that doesn't exist. So same thing with Sheeb, same thing with Pepe, same thing with some of these bigger meme coins. Mostly the ratio of liquidity to market cap is 10%. Give or take. Normally it's 5 to 10%. So it's you have 100 million market cap coin and you'll have 1 million ish, 10 million ish in the pool. That's just give or take. But normally it's people who kind of add positions in and out. You'll have people adding in liquidity, taking out liquidity, adding in liquidity. So again, having this locked and renounced liquidity with this percentage is really insane. And so whenever I tell my real life, my IRL friends about this, and I'll be like, yeah, it's $170 million. And they're like, what do you mean? Can you get it? Can you, I know you did it on accident, but you can change it. It's nope, I can't.
Okay. So that's a good point. So this burn, is not going to affect the liquidity, I guess. So I think the liquidity right now stands at a little over 2 million, 2.2 or something like that. So we don't have to worry about the liquidity being okay. Good. That's a good thing to know. Okay. So it was an accident, but from an investor's point of view, it was a happy accident. It's right. It's enormous. Now let's kind of delve into that a little bit more about this burn. Now, the holders, people who are familiar with the project since it launched, last April, they've been waiting for this event.
Mhm.
The December, very clever, by the way, using Christmas Day for that, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So 80th December, this is top of mind for everybody in all the groups. They're already talking about, the Christmas burn. But the way I
Mm.
see it now, this is where I'm going to reveal kind of my naivete a little bit about this space. Okay, so the way I understand it is those were set aside, those coins were segregated from the very beginning.
Mhm.
So, so in effect, the burn, I don't know if I'd call it a non-event, but it's already kind of built into what's going to be available after the burn. Do I have that
Right.
right, or am I wrong?
So you are smart. The answer is yes, you're correct. So,
Okay.
but it's not that I'm calling other people not smart, but what I'm
Right.
saying is that um, there's a trust factor for trusting the like what the devs are saying, and there's also a due diligence factor where it's like, do people understand what a smart contract means? Like when I explain it to a friend outside of crypto, they're like, oh, but you can just like get it anyways. It's like, no, I physically, it is a contract that is unbreakable. So a good example, this is I'm so happy that we're having this like in between both because it kind of works out well. So the liquidity was locked for 7 months on launch, and the 80% burn was also locked and scheduled. Moving towards the liquidity, people were, we got to like the 2 week level till when the renouncing was going to happen, and people were saying like, well, wait, what if they just change their minds? And it's like, what do you mean? I can't. And so what we saw leading up into the liquidity pool, like burn, like locking the keys, renouncing that position, was the same thing that we're experiencing now, where people are saying like, well, it's not going to do anything, right? Like people already know it; it's already priced in. You could presume that, from the beginning, I was very transparent that there wasn't an official team. I was very transparent that there was no treasury to just like throw money at marketing and all the pay for things. The burn was scheduled, the LP was renounced. Like you could make the presumption that like, well, wait, there has been nothing new that has changed in this token other than perception of people. As the history of the project goes, the longer which is kind of funny, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The longer this project exists, the more weightiness it has because it's proven the test of time. So we saw that there was basically, I mean, I'll go on record. I've said this before. So I did an AMA with an exchange, and the lady asked the question, and I was like, I don't care, just sell. Who cares? And the lady was like, "What? You're telling people to sell?" And I was like, I'm a community. What? I can't tell you what to do. And she's like, I've never heard anyone in a project tell someone to sell. And I'm like, it is not up to me what you do with your money. I can't tell you to buy. I can't convince you. I can, present facts. But in the same thing, if I can't convince you to buy, I can't convince you to not to sell. So it's like what we saw leading up into that renouncing of the liquidity was pretty much like nothing, nothing, nothing. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's renounced. It's unruggable. And it's like, I told you guys, I told you it was going to be renounced. And so personally, we have that as kind of an example of people thought that the liquidity was already going to be a non-issue, blah, blah, blah. And yet, why did we see like essentially like a parabolic move after the renouncing of the liquidity? Truly, because I think, and I talked back to the due diligence, it's like just some people, maybe they don't know how to do the research, or maybe they just don't understand. But there are still people who are unsure, and they need to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
So the effect, like people then ask me like, oh, well, what's the effect of the burn? Like, is it, what's like, I'm like, well, I can't tell you. I literally have no idea. But I can say this. The perception right now for this project is that the market cap is 213 million. That is the perception, because that
Right.
includes, that's the FTV. That's
That's
what
right.
people assume. So they assume that without looking into 80%, they say like, oh, this is probably like a vesting thing, they'll distribute to early investors or staking or who knows. And so it's like, okay, whatever. But and I know that is so easy to confirm or deny by checking like the blockchain. And so that FTV all of a sudden is no longer 200 million. That goes to what it needs to be. Well, what is accurate, which is the 50, 45, whatever it is right now,
Right.
million.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? So the number I've always been quoting in all the videos I've been doing is the market cap as of, the number after the burn, because that's what
Yeah.
really counts. Everything
Yeah,
else,
exactly.
the bigger number is essentially irrelevant because they're
Yeah.
going to be gone officially in 13 days.
Yeah.
But it did the fact that 80% of the existing coins, not the available coins, but the existing coins are going to be burned, on Christmas Day, is the worst kept secret in the history of Wall Street. Everyone knows, it's coming. It's all built in.
Yeah.
Now, this whole
Yeah.
phenomenon about buy the rumor, sell the news. By the way, that used to be kind of a Wall Street insider, trick. So if usually it's around things like a company is expected to beat their earnings report this quarter. And so the stock will go up ahead of the news. And then on the news, it'll sell off. It beat the earnings, and the average retail investor say, "Oh, what's going on? They beat
Yes.
the earnings. Why is it going down?" Because the big guys are buying up ahead of that news.
Right.
But this is different. So everyone knows the event. Everyone
Yeah.
knows. So it's not really a rumor. It's a fact. So
Yeah.
it's really a sell the event. It's so for where I sit, it's a non-issue. I think people are
Yeah.
they're latching on to that catchphrase, buy the rumor, sell the news, and they
Yeah.
think they're
Yeah.
clever, and they think, oh boy, I'm gonna, I know more than when
Yes,
really,
exactly.
you don't understand. It's not really relevant. Now, anything
Yeah.
can happen if it were to sell off on the news. It's going to be because people have talked themselves into that's what they're supposed to be
Exactly.
doing, right?
Yeah.
That's the rule. When hey,
Yeah.
there's not written in stone, because
Yeah.
there's a very very good argument, the other direction. Now again, neither Maker or I are telling you to go out and buy the stock. We're not here giving
Yes.
financial advice. We're just being open and transparent about things that we know. We might share opinions, but we're here to give you insight, give you ideas about the coin. So the burn itself it's everyone knows it's coming. It's
Yeah.
in terms of the practical effect on the coin. There is no practical effect on the coin. Everyone knows what
Right.
the coins are going to be available, afterward. Now,
Yep.
I will say though that I think you nailed it. I think the real effect of the event is not the burning itself, but it's kind of well, the do we trust them? Is it really going to happen or not? Like
Yeah.
the first time around, you said you said no, I renounced it, guys, and then
Right.
it goes up afterward after the announcement. Well, I told you,
Yeah.
it's built into the. It's not like
Yeah.
you don't have to rely on my promise. It's built into the
Yes.
freaking smart
Right.
contract.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so same thing here. We don't have to trust you that the
Right.
burn is going to happen. But you know what? I do think that, and I want your take on this. I do think that so many people have been so shell-shocked in this space, so many rug pulls, and so many things that look good and turned out not to be, good.
Yeah.
Last night, I looked at a project called Pepe Jr. or Baby Pepe or something like that. Came out like yesterday. Had a big pump there for about 3 hours, and now it's like nothing. And that kind of thing in this space happens on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So I think people are just naturally skeptical. So you're swimming, we're kind of swimming in a space here where there's so much scandal that people are they're skeptical by default. What do you think about that?
I think it's an unfortunate reality of the nature of the industry, of money in general. I think like you could take a large philosophical reach and say like, well, like the nature of man is always like more self-serving than helping others, which is sad. And I think it's one of those things where it's like you could become cynical to it, and you could enjoy it, like embrace it, and like, who cares, everyone's going to screw me over, I'll screw them over. Or you can take the route that I personally believe is the right route, which is like, it doesn't matter how much scams or messed up people or greed there is in the world, like at least I can be different. So that to me is just like an encouraging to other people, to encourage other people, where it's like, don't get discouraged by focusing on the negative, because especially like the news, if you're watching the news, especially if you read the news talking about crypto, it's like, we're all scammers. NFTs are a scam. Crypto is a scam. Like that's just what they regurgitate over and over. And, for us who are in the space all the time, we know that there's actually a lot of good that's happening, and a lot of development and a lot of innovation, where it's like, if you're in crypto right now, it's because you believe in the next 3 to 5 to 7 years, crypto will be in every aspect of society. So, for us who kind of have that, to not get burnt out, I think, if there's any regret that I've had over the last year, maybe year and a half, really, well, one, burning $100 million worth, but two was like not kind of taking off for the bear market. When the bull market comes, because we all go in cycles, so it's like as the bull is coming closer, maybe we're close, who knows, but as we get close to a bull, like leading into this next cycle, things get amped up to the extreme, where the euphoria, the FOMO, the emotions, everything is high. And so it's like you need to be rested to be able to handle that. And I think for me, my one, I guess, regret, although I've been, building, as they say, during the bear, but it's was not kind of enjoying the slower time, and realizing like, oh, well, we're actually going to be going pretty hard here pretty soon. And so I guess the encouragement is just like to take a step back and like educate yourself. That's what I always say. I always hope that any person who owns Jesus Coin, but really anyone that I come in contact with, is the most educated person in the room. Like, you don't have to be a Solidity developer, but learn how to read Etherscan. Learn how to even if it's like Nansen or Arkham, where you can track someone. It's like, be aware of, and you could use ChatGPT. You could literally be like, can you explain like how does staking on Lido work? And they'll explain it to you in a very simple way, and be like, actually, can you make that even easier to understand? And then they'll do it. So I would say that like educate yourselves, so that you can kind of have a larger perspective. Don't focus on the negative of like the scammers and the rug pulls and all these things, because they're always going to be there. And the goal is for like good people. I think is it Winston Churchill, like something for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
That's right. The only thing evil needs to succeed is for good men to do nothing.
There it is. So, don't stop being good. That's my...
Okay. And, so from where I sit, and I want you to comment on this, I think there are two things about this coin that make it unique in the space. And this is why this is the first crypto that I bought in 2.5 years. And
wow.
in my first video on Jesus Coin back in May, when I took my first position, I thought, I just bought my first crypto. And it was the first crypto I bought in 2.5 years. The 2.5 years ago, or 3 years ago now, I did a video predicting a crypto winter. And boy, did I get a lot of pushback on that. And, because I can afford to be now. Unfortunately, you can't short crypto, so best thing you do is just get out of the way and let it wash out. Now, so there are reasons why I did step up to Jesus Coin. So there are two things that I think make Jesus Coin unique. In this space, the measures you took to make this coin unruggable should give, that right there puts you in a minority in the group as far as I'm concerned. About the steps you took, you took more than enough steps to protect people. You didn't want, you got fed up with people being rugged all the time, so you took steps to make sure that wouldn't happen. Okay, that's number one. And number two is the religious angle to this. Now, I am a Christian. God knows I could be a better one, and I've got to work in that. I don't wear it on my sleeve. I don't go all the time. I don't, at the cashier. I don't preach to her about Jesus. But if you're going to pick a meme, when you look at a meme coin on a stupid dog that's trading that 12 billion market cap, versus a meme coin on Jesus Christ, right there, I'm saying, well, hey, if there's going to be a meme, that's not a bad one. Pepe, now I know there are some people who say, yeah, but making money off Jesus, it seems kind of unseemly and kind of blasphemous, so I'm not going to do it. I don't think that's true at all. I think Jesus wants
Mm,
everyone to prosper, and
yeah.
so let's overlook that for for a second. But so the nature of the meme itself. So between those two, look, whether you're particularly religious or not, everybody recognizes Jesus
Hmm.
Christ as a recognizable, you know, iconic,
Hmm.
figure, a meme, so to speak. So those are the two. So what do you think about that? Those are the way I look at it. Those are the two aspects. Oh, and to expand on that a little bit, because of that, the community behind this coin, I do think that the vast majority of the current holders are people who actually believe
Hmm.
in the mission of the project. They believe in it.
Yeah.
So these people are not trading. They're not doing it
Mm-mm.
necessarily for the money. Yeah, everyone wants to make money.
Right.
But in a broader sense, they not only do I have a chance to prosper myself, but I'm supporting a movement that
Yeah.
has a philosophy that I can feel good about being associated with. It's not
Yeah.
just about quick trading for profits. So you want to
Yeah.
elaborate on that?
Yeah, I would love to. No, it's so cool to hear like you explain it and what attracted you to the project because it's like I'm in it all the time and I see it and I know my motives and I know why, it was like if I'm gonna put my time into something, why would it be some dumb meme, like an internet meme that it's like that I don't believe in that, like not really. And so that's exactly why I like named it Jesus coin. It's a bold. I could have done good coin or holy. You know what I mean? Like there could have been
Yeah.
so many other. And again, I think there's a reason. Obviously, it all happened for a reason. And I would say, I guess to your first point, which is, I agree. I think like on a non-buy, I'm a holder. I bought with my own money after launch. I'm a community member, just a very involved community member. And like looking into the project, it's like you go through the top 10. I think we're like number 12 right now out of all meme coins.
Yes.
You look at yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy,
We got
crazy.
yeah, finish your thought, but we got to lean into that point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you look at the top 15 and it's like, Elon Doge, Shiba, AI it's like dogs and it's like why was the culture to create dog meat? I just don't get it. So truthfully, as a non-biased person looking in, it's like, oh, these are all dogs. How do I know which one to pick? Let's pick the one that's, something different. So I completely agree on that one. I also completely agree on the like I understand. I was very hesitant to tell anyone in real life about this project because it's like basically me trying to, not that I need to explain myself to people, but it's like you want to present it correctly. Because if you hear something out of context and it's like, yeah, it's blasphemous, it's sacrilegious, it's like, okay, yeah, that can be people's reaction. And then it's like, well, no, actually, if you dig into the fact of like, actually, like we're doing 7 days a week live streams on Twitter, and it's like we're praying for people are sharing testimonies, there's like worship music, messages and reading the Bible. Like how can we say that this gathering of believers, of people who believe in something bigger than themselves and believe in doing good, and believe in Jesus? Not everyone is a Christian. I mean, I've literally had like an atheist come into the Twitter space and be like, bro, I'm an atheist, but I love what you guys are doing. It's like, okay, cool, awesome. So it's like I think that also is attractive and long lasting, whereas you have some of these other projects, and not to down any other project, but it's like, what their meme is based off of, it's like, is that really like, is there longevity to that meme, or is it just like kind of a niche thing that will pass away? And so again with that, it's like I think there's a lot of people will be attracted to something that stands out, to something that is long lasting, that is universal, if you believe in God or if you don't believe in God. And then once you dig into the community itself and realize like, oh, they're not making fun of Jesus. Like they actually believe in Jesus.
Oh
They love
yeah.
Jesus. And they're like trying to spread the gospel. Like they're trying to help people and to share the good news, where it's like, again, it's like, there is a balance. It's like, oh, you're profiting off of Jesus's image or something. And it's like, okay, so you just made 10 grand on a dog coin. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
are you worshiping a dog? It's just like
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's just interesting. And I think again, that's why and even with like some of these AMAs, it's like I think I've done one, and then one with you, and then trying to do more, because I know that like more people want to hear the story, and more people should hear like from me about it. But I've been hesitant because it's like wanting to make sure that the community, like the message is in place. Like, is there any, and I've done this where it's like, I'll pray about something and be like, actually, I really probably like that joke maybe is too far. You know what I mean? Where it's like the sunglasses are like, it's culture, it's a cultural thing. It is the meme cultural thing. So it's like we've incorporated that. It's like any image has the sunglass, like the meme sunglasses. And that's there was like pushback on that once, and then there wasn't again. So it's like as the community continues to grow, the presentation of the project becomes a lot easier, because then it's not this like gut punch of like, oh, how dare you be doing that. It's actually a lot easier to convey. And I think, again, there's testament to 10,400 holders in since April. I mean, it's crazy. I'm like blown away.
And shout out, by the way, to everyone in the Jesus Coin community. I love you guys. You guys are a really good crowd. And for those of you who are in Jesus Coin and you haven't joined the Twitter thing, I encourage you, go to the Coin Market Cap page, and if you scroll down, you'll see just click on the Twitter button and join the group. If for nothing else, even if you don't want to actively participate, you can check out what's going on. And join the Telegram group too. I mean, all meme coins are essentially, they're about the community, and the fact that the community has grown, and it has grown organically. It is not they're not out buying membership. People are growing organically, and I think it's just going. It has to grow. When you think about the number of Christians worldwide who, if any of them are interested in crypto and they're looking for a turn, and they say, hey, well, I can buy meme coin on a slimy frog, or I can buy meme coin on Jesus Christ. I mean, the upside potential is, okay. So let's step back. All right. So I am precariously on the edge of promoting, telling people to buy it.
Right. Exactly.
I want to try. I want to try to avoid. I want to try to be just give the fact. Just the fact.
Yes.
However, I do want to put things in perspective as well. When you consider the upside potential, okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about the nature of the trading nature of this coin, because I do watch this closely enough where I can kind of give people a sense about the way this thing is traded. It's not uncommon for this coin to have trapdoor, air pocket, sell up, boom, boom, and then, but remember, it's never the news; it's always the reaction to the news. Yeah. Because if somebody wants to sell $100,000 worth of the coin, and that does happen, you can see a little airdrop, temporarily. But then it'll take a while, to recover. That kind of thing happens. This thing can have spikes in both directions. Yeah. So I tell people that if you think about getting into the coin, just know that's the nature of this coin. And you have to step back and look at the bigger picture on this coin. If you want to trade in and out of this coin, personally, I think it's a fool's errand. Yeah, you might get lucky once in a while. You might work, but if you're looking to make 10 or 20%, or even 1 or 2 or 3x, for crying out loud, go buy Bitcoin. I mean, this is a meme coin. So even though you did a wonderful job making this coin unruggable, in my opinion, and the community and all the good stuff that has gone, it's still in that category of meme coins. Yeah. So you do have to understand that and appreciate that. So it is in that category of investments that's on the extreme end of the risk scale. Yes. So you got to build that in. So no one should, if someone gets into this coin, they should never put into this money that they cannot afford to lose. That's number one, right? They should only put money into it. They can, on the other hand, they can only lose 100%, right? Right, Maker? They can only lose 100%. So people have to do the math, sit down. Oh, what can I afford to live without? That kind of thing. Yeah. But let's look at the other side of that, though, for argument's sake. Look at Pepe, Doge, take your pick. And if you bought that coin in week 1, and you sat on it for a year, and you ignored the big swings along the way, holy cow. So the way I look at this coin, because of the potential that I think this coin has, it has that potential, operative word being potential, right? It has the potential of changing people's lives. It can alter the course of people's lives. But it won't do it if they don't let them do it. If they're going to be trading
Right.
in and out, and they're going to settle for a 200% or 300% move, yeah, look, you'll never go broke taking a profit.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you want that life-changing move and you don't let it give you the life-changing move,
Right.
you are, I don't know. I'm kind of like, so what do you think about all that?
It's a good point, because I think, the nature of crypto is volatile. There's a reason that the regulators have been, trying for years to get something in place. The reality is, with most you have the top 100, where it's like going to be more stable in crypto than like 100 to 250. It's like, okay, maybe we'll have some swings here, but it's like right now I think we're like the 500 something most popular crypto, like by market cap, which again is crazy. No budget, no team, like here, insane. And so that's that, where it's like, okay, we're in the volatile range of things. And I've been in crypto, for a bit. So it's like I geek out on the numbers and like the math of things. And so going through and like trying to explain. So like, for example, here, today, last night, I think somebody sold like 100K worth. And then, we had a dip down, and then it kind of bounced back up. So it's like on the day we're down 20%. And then volume, we're like $3 million in trading volume, which again is just, that's a lot of money. But the reality is a 20% move down is only from the result of 100,000 selling. That's it.
Yep.
So even though we have 3 million in volume, it's really the difference of 100K pushed it down 20%.
Yep.
So that's where people, it's like, imagine putting 100K in Tesla. You will do nothing to the chart. You know what I mean? You're talking about millions to do that. And so just as easily as you can have a dip of 20%, it's like, sure, if you had 100, now you have 80. Okay, granted. It's up 17,000% in the year.
Yeah.
And that, like, those numbers, just to absolutely, please do not invest or buy more than you can afford to lose. Like, please. With that, however, I think when people see other people make like huge winners, it can be encouraging and it can be discouraging. But sometimes it's worth looking out. Where I tweeted a couple months ago, I tweeted a screenshot, and it was a guy who bought SHIB like within the first couple of weeks, became a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like a billionaire buying a meme. Like, explain that to try to explain that to anyone. It's impossible.
Yeah, but we know those stories in hindsight, right?
Yes.
The story I like to use is that kid in Norway who is a college kid, and then one day he bought $27 worth of Bitcoin because a buddy told him to, and then he completely forgot about it. Then a few years later, something rang about, oh, hey, I think I might have bought that. He went and he found his old laptop, and he still had it, and the kid doesn't have to work again the rest of his life.
Wow.
Okay. Now, however, but what if that guy had been watching Bitcoin all along?
Right.
Long.
Yes.
Chances are, he would not have had the intestinal fortitude to hold out long enough to get that, massive move.
Yes.
And that's kind of the other side. I mean, we talk an awful lot about, reducing your risk, keep your losses small, only put money you can afford. We emphasize that point a lot, but we don't talk about the other side of the equation very much, which is, if you want to go for that big life-changing amount of money, give it a chance to get there, because people have a chance. I think people too many times, they shoot themselves in the foot. They don't, greed kicks in, and whatever, and they or they just become impatient, or they become bored. They find another shiny object, and so they jump from shiny object to shiny object,
right?
And so they don't give themselves a chance to get that life-changing amount of money.
Yes.
So and again. Jesus Coin has been around now since April. So what is that? 8 months? Right? Yeah, 8 months. Yeah. 8 months, guys. This September. Yeah. Now, when I first bought the coin, by the way, I bought it in May after it had the second pump there. So I bought it at 6013. So so there are not many people who paid more than I did for my initial position.
Right.
I rolled it all the way down, didn't sell it.
Wow.
At one point, I was down 90%, on that position. But there's a reason why I bought it. Now, it was a starter position. I know how to manage these things. Now, when we put in that next long channel during the summer, and it broke out of that channel there, that's when I leaned into it. And so,
Yes.
and now since then, because I did it that way, I have personally de-risked. I don't have any
Yeah. Right.
out-of-pocket money anymore in this
Great.
coin. So
Well done.
and I can sell right now with a very respectable
Yeah.
bragging rights kind of a profit.
Right.
But I think this coin is going to do much more. Besides, jumping in and out has tax implications. In
Oh
addition to everything
yeah.
else, there are
Exactly.
tax considerations for jumping in and out, in and out. So
Hmm.
so that's the person. So I suggest that, and this is the trader instructor part of me, it keeps coming out, is that if you're going to get into this coin, come up with a plan. Uh, you should know by the time you get into the coin, you should already know what your plan is. You shouldn't be winging
Yeah.
it, when you're in it,
Yeah.
and if your plan is to go for the life-changing amount of money, do the math, get the calculator out, and say, well, this is what I
Right.
need to get to. Then own it and then just kind of hodl it,
Yeah. Exactly.
and that's my personal, again, not financial advice, guys. It's just food for thought out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just uh, don't. I mean, one piece of advice I think I am comfortable giving people is have a freaking plan. Do not
Yes.
just wing it. And then in times of uncertainty, in times when you're doubting yourself, go to your plan and say, well, yeah, that's why I bought it. Has anything
Hmm.
changed? Has,
Right.
has Jesus Christ fallen out of favor? Is there,
Right.
is there, if nothing's changed, anyway. So a little bit of a rant.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, people. Maybe I should edit part of that out, but
No, it's great. Great because it's so true. It's like 90% honestly is like pretty average for a dip in a meme coin. And for some of these, I mean, think about Bitcoin, where you have these pumps from like pennies, to a couple dollars down to pennies again. And it's like, do you want to be the Bitcoin pizza guy, basically?
yeah,
And it's like, again, who knows what's going to happen? But in
right.
terms of like, you know, knowing what we know about the project because of what I have done and did accidentally or on whatever, we're very, very early to things when it comes really just crypto still in general. Like there's still like crypto is still early. And so this project as well,
Okay, so your time is valuable. So there are
Yeah.
a few more questions I want to get in. So we'll do kind of a rapid session here.
Okay.
Q&A. Okay, so kind of lean in, explain a little bit more about the ranking. You mentioned earlier we're at number 12. So what were you referring to there about the
Yes.
ranking?
All right, I want to get the exact number because I think it's cool to share.
Okay.
So right now we are overall out of all crypto 587 out of the thousands and thousands of cryptos, which again blows my mind because I know the details of like, oh my gosh, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we are right now number 13 meme coin overall.
Wow.
If
Wow,
you go
wow,
on,
wow.
if you go on CoinGecko, that is in order. CoinMarketCap has not adjusted the circulating supply base like correctly, so the ranking has not been ranked correctly. So I don't even think we're on the list on CoinMarketCap, but on CoinGecko, number 13.
Wow,
Right there.
nice. Okay, next question is talking a little bit about whales.
Yes.
Now I know that whales, no, whales are people who they're what you think they are. They're people with a
Right.
lot of dough and they put a lot of money in. Now, and I talked about this in one of my previous videos. Is ironically, whales don't come into coins when they're tiny,
Yep.
because if they're going to put a lot of money in, they can move this. It's not efficient for them to put
Yep.
a lot. So they start becoming interested when the market cap gets higher. So
Yes.
ironically, as this coin, I mean, right now we're still sitting at under $50 million in market cap, as of today, as of this recording. It's still relatively small for those guys. Now,
Yep.
so people might say, well, what if this thing were to have a pump and by the end of the year, the market cap is, I don't know, 300 million. Okay, you say, oh, geez, I missed it. Well, the way I look at it is that's when the whales, I don't know where the magic number is, but the higher that the market cap gets, the more interested the whales are going to become. And they're more likely to come in. I think they're already dipping their toes in. That's
Yeah.
what I suspect. Because these guys do like to be early, and
Yeah.
the way that Jesus Coin is working its way up the ladder is in a good sense of that is the number of YouTube videos out there on Jesus Coin. Now, when
Yeah,
I first started
growing.
doing mine, no, they're like me. There's like me and one other guy.
Yeah, yeah,
But now, if you do a search for Jesus Coin crypto, there's a lot of them. They're popping
yeah,
up all of a sudden.
yeah.
It's starting to enter the zeitgeist out there.
Right.
Right. Talk a little bit about that phenomenon with the whales. Do I
Yeah.
have that right, do you think? Or
Yeah. It's accurate because, and it comes down, I mean, like stock, being in the stock like world, there's only a handful of stocks that Warren Buffett, like Berkshire, can buy. You know what I mean? They're gonna acquire a whole company if they throw the millions and millions and millions at something. So it's like they have a certain amount of tickers that they basically trade because there's just not enough liquidity or enough market cap or whatever. So the same thing comes into play when it comes to meme coins and crypto, because you have whales who have 10 mil, 20 mil, 30, whatever, in just like liquid that they want to be trading with. And they want exposure to certain projects. And to say that like, oh, it's a $10 million meme coin, it's like, well, my entire, like my spending money is 10 million. How am I going to invest in that? So whales don't become whales on accident. Like they're smart and they understand everything we're talking about. They understand and then some. And so, yeah, I completely agree that knowing that you have whales in, let's say, like just NFTs, for example, who spend, let's say, 6 figures to buy an NFT, like a Fidenza or an autoglyph or something, where it's like, it's an NFT. Like I'm not going to buy a 6-figure NFT, but a whale will, because they understand like the diversification, they understand like the perceived upside for something, but then also like having the making sure, wait for the word, making sure they are, oh no, exposed. There it is. Making sure that they are exposed by having a position. So it's like, just think through like top 20 meme coins. It's like, would you as a whale want to invest in a random meme coin, or would you want to invest in like proven top 20? Like, here's a list that I know I'm safe in investing because other people have proven that there's value to it. And that's when the whales start coming through. And it's like, I'll post on my Twitter where it's like, oh, somebody just bought 20K worth of Jesus. Like, it's like, that is a tweet and that goes viral because it's like, oh, a 20K buy. But it's like, again, 20K buy of the Tesla, it's not going to make any news headlines. So as the floors continue to rise, as interest goes up, because again, the history has proven that the longer it exists, it's like Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin has appreciated in value the longer it has existed.
right.
And Bitcoin is inflationary until it's not. So Jesus coin is there's no more. There is no inflation. So it's interesting to see. And I'll do some digging on Nansen, which is like an analytics platform. You can track wallets, and like they'll group smart wallets or whales, and you can see like, oh, the inflows of whales. And so it's like, transparently, you can see like there are people who are aware, but at the same time, the whales have yet to start playing heavy.
Right.
And I think once the overall market starts shifting, that's when we see the whale games like really take off.
Yeah, and personally, I think that's why the rankings that you just talked about are so important, because it's going to start appearing on more radars out there among the bigger guys.
Exactly.
And so it's going to start. Now, Jesus Coin had pretty much had its 17,000% appreciation over the first 8 months, purely on organics. Not a whole lot of advertising or public appearances going on. It's not like you're out there on CNBC giving an interview yet. So are there any plans to promote the Jesus Coin?
Yeah. So for me, the biggest plan right now is like, let's get through the burn. And then we can start moving forward, because it's like, people are very excited about that. And the 80%, one, making sure it's going to happen. Two, what does it mean? So for me, like the biggest thing is like, okay, now what? Like, we've established, and I, chatting with some friends back in the summer where it's like, man, like if this happens, then we'll be good to go. So it's like, truthfully, it's like, had we not recovered all-time highs in this year, is that more bearish or less bullish long term? Who knows? But like what made the most sense, we're grateful that it happened, where it's like we zoomed through all-time highs after the launch. I mean, increased holders like crazy. And so it's like we're starting to expand. And for me, it's always like a tiered approach where it's like, we need the native crypto people. We want the traders. We want the timeline on Twitter, like crypto Twitter talking about it. Then we need the YouTubers. YouTubers have a bigger reach when it comes to outside of crypto, because you have a lot of people who are like warm to crypto, but aren't necessarily in it all the time. So then it's like from there, now we go to other realms. And so it's like for me, specifically in 2024, like Q1, Q2 is let's get the brand and the community growing. That's my number one goal. And it's like, I want to say like, oh, let's pump whatever. It's like, no, I know the value of community, and I know the longevity comes when you have, Bitcoin maxis. Like when you have Jesus coin maxis, that's where you start seeing this like huge like takeover. So that's my number one goal. For sure, more appearances, but also just like, let's make sure that the brand is out there and just make it as accessible as possible. So it's difficult to buy, not everyone knows how to buy on Coinbase Wallet or MetaMask. Like that's not really an easy thing for some people. So
yeah, but my attitude on that is if somebody wants something bad enough, they'll figure it out. There are actual instructional videos about how to buy Jesus coin specifically.
Right.
So
there are.
Do a YouTube search and we'll figure it out. Right. And if you have to, someone will get on a Zoom with you. And if you're brand new and you're confused, after you've done it once or twice, it's not that hard. It's just new stuff. One of my recent videos, I titled it, the hard work has been done. Now this is my take on Jesus coin. So Jesus coin has 8 months behind it now, which is still young, but it's had a very dramatic 8 months. Particularly what happened this summer. This summer when it sold off and it was down 90%, from the high that it hit, that is where most meme coins go to die. Most meme coins do not recover from that. So the fact that it has recovered from that very dramatically, and the fact that it had sell-offs along the way that it's always recovered from, it's got a track record now. It's kind of it's proven itself. So those people, so those of us who have been in it, in my case, since last May, we kind of paid the price. We took the bullet for you guys out there. Okay. Right. Now we're being very well rewarded for the effort. But during the summer there, it was like watching paint dry, and there's not, well, is anything going to come of this or not? Well, that's behind us. So this coin, in my opinion, it's had its trial by fire. Okay, it's had the occasional person selling $100,000 worth, so you get it back down, but then it recovers. So you have a history to refer to. So which makes this coin, in my opinion, so much more credible. The fact that it went through hard times, so to speak, and it's still standing and it's thriving. So anyway, okay, so. We talked about I'll edit this part. Let's see. Okay, so we talked about not the monsters. What do you call them? We talked about the
whales.
Yeah, the whales. Okay, so we're talking about whales. Okay. Are there any plans that you know of to have this placed on any more exchanges? Are there any exchanges in the wings that you can share with us, or not, or? Don't you know?
I can't share specifically, but I can share it is on my top priority. And I can also share that in the past, we have had to go to people. And what's happening now is people are coming to us. So I'll share. That's kind of a cool place to be in.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Okay. Just enough. Very diplomatic. Okay. Look, I'm going to leave it there because I know you have to run. This is about, I could talk to you for another couple of hours because this has been a fascinating interview. I really appreciate you taking the time, Maker, because I know you're busy. People in my WhatsApp group asked me to give you a collective hug for all the work that you've done. And I'm sure everyone in the Jesus Coin community feels the same way toward you. So well done. My guess is that before too long, you're going to be a well sought after. I mean, your stock is only going to go up from here. So well done. I don't think you have to worry
Thank
about your
you.
reputation, man. I think
Thank
it's
you.
I think it's secured. And I'm sure this Christmas you're gonna have a little extra something to be thankful for. So
Yes.
again, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Okay, Ed Anderson, along with the creator of Jesus Coin, Maker Lee, live from Minnesota, signing out. Yay! Okay, so there are other religious meme coins out there now, and some of them are on Jesus. Were we the first?
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay. Technically, no. So I think there was a coin on Binance on BNB 3 years ago, 2 years ago, called Jesus Coin. If you type in Jesus Coin, it's not like there's no volume, there's no liquidity, there's no trading volume. And I think their ticker is JC. Like because we have kind of like taken over the timeline, it doesn't even come up on CoinGecko anymore. So that's actually interesting. But if you Google it, there's some articles when they did like a paid post back in the thing. But the issue was like it didn't take off, and so it didn't really establish a meta, and they weren't sincere. So like they just probably took their pre-sale and ran. But in terms of like religious meme coins like this genre, yes, we were the first.
Okay, because now if someone goes to like Uniswap, then they type in JES, and see there are other coins that they're like Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna mention it. There's some other, but there's only one coin. So
yeah.
and what about this other? Like there's Mary and there's God. And these are all like just they have nothing to do with you, right? These are just
No, nothing.
knockoffs, right?
Knockoff. I mean, it's literally knockoffs with devs who I presume are not sincere, who just want to capitalize on the hype. Yeah, it is.
Well, one way to look at it though is, the more religious meme, it could draw attention
Yeah.
to the space, and if people do any kind of research, they're going to see that
Right.
Jesus Coin it's the one.
Exactly.
It's it's a blue chip version of religious meme coins, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, hey man, well, congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
I think you have a lot to be proud of and a lot to brag
Thank
about.
you.
So I'll let you get to your day.
Copy that.